gentlemen, my name is Billy Alexander, and we are live once again right here in the PWA studios for Inside the Locker Room. Now, if you watched last week's episode, you saw that we had a special guest, and that was the PWA Regional Champion. Well, I also made mention of a guy who will be here today, and as you see him sitting on camera right now, he thinks he's the most special person in PWA because he holds a tag team title. But that is the returning Michael Shard.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. And you being a champion as well, thank you for taking time out to come on to my show.
No problem, Mr. Alexander. I have all the time in the world for you right now.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Right now.
And right now. Okay. Well, if you watched last week's episode, you know what this show is kind of about. This show is about you, the PWA superstar, the wrestler.
My kind of show.
So that this fans outside of the locker room know who you are.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and jump right into this. When exactly did Michael Shard debut in pro wrestling?
When did Michael Shard debut, or when did I start wrestling? One is not the same. Wrestlers just don't get a name and stay with it forever.
No. Let's go with Michael Shard.
Michael Shard happened, I don't know, I probably started wrestling about earlier than that. I was 16 when I started wrestling. I'd probably say in the early 2000s-ish. I'm really bad with the whole timeline with this one. Michael Shard started because I wasn't doing very good as a face, and they didn't know how much hate a little guy had in him, and it just worked out golden because I love
Dynamite, the little package, right?
Yeah, they had no idea.
Well, we all have an idea. I mean, we've seen it.
That's because I'm excellent.
We'll leave that to the fans when
and
they
stats.
Okay.
And titles.
Right.
Just in general, there isn't a single thing about me that wouldn't seem excellent on paper, and then you see me in person, and it's scotch better.
Well, I've seen your so-called paper, and I've seen your stats, and I've seen you as a person, and I don't have anything against you, Michael Shard, because you are one of the greats. You are a legend in Central Illinois. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've been around for many of years. You've done what you've done. You've disappeared for many of years.
That happens. Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So when you came in, you talked about coming in. You were working with, I believe at the time it was Midwest Wrestling Alliance.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's where we came in at.
Okay.
MWA.
Yeah, right. And then sometime later on the line, that changed a little bit into what a lot of the fans out there know as New Midwest Wrestling.
Yeah, owners changes, name changes, that sort of thing happens.
I mean,
shout out to Brady, kinda.
Well, yeah. So when you came in, you had a faction. You aligned yourself with certain people. Mm-hmm. And some of these fans aren't going to know this. Some of these are going to remember this as soon as we talk about it, but that faction, I do believe, is not only what was inside of pro wrestling, but I believe it's a board game now, and it's called the Monopoly.
Yeah, there was Monopoly. Real World Jeremy, the name that shall not be spoken. We'll just go ahead and leave him in the dirt. And then we have Tom Arson.
Yep.
And we got Bradley Stevens. What an awesome team. The truth is here's what I find funny. Because I've had several factions, or at least like I'm in now, like Tag Team Champions, alliances that prove exactly what I do for everything and everyone in the place I wrestle, and that's I make them better.
You make them better.
I make them better. I make the opponents next to me better simply by existing. It makes them try harder.
So you're saying now, right here, live in the studio on camera, that because you're in the ring with your tag team partner,
yes,
Jonathan Magnus,
yes,
you make him better simply because you're Michael Shard and you're in there with him.
Yes. Let me take this one step farther. To conceptualize this, let's say I'm not in a wrestling ring wrestling that same exact show with that same exact card.
Sure.
PWA as a whole, if they actually have any pride, they have any sack in them whatsoever, will try harder because they know a better product's on the show. I'm what they call a wolf. This is why the Monopoly worked out so well. This is why it always works out so well. Wolves take what they want. All the rest is for the slaughter.
It's a little deep for some of the younger fans. We don't want to scare them now.
Let it be scared. Let them come to something that's scary.
Phew.
We go to haunted houses. We go to real life things. And you know what? Not everything's sunshine and rainbows. And I'm certainly not going to be sunshine and rainbows. Never going to lie to you. Always going to be who I am. I'm the best. I push myself to be better every single time I come out because I'm a showman. I'm a storyteller and I'm a showman. Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I come into wrestling and I remember I won my first title. Beat Rip Mystic. First title. I was on cloud 9. I mean, nobody saw it coming. This little guy wasn't in very good shape, scrawny. And I remember another promoter for another fed said to me, that kid's too small to do it. That kid's too small to hold the title. Egg in your face, buddy. I'm as good as they get. People like to see me. No one like to see your garbage shows.
Well, speaking of titles, since you want to go ahead and push out there for them to know how the best you are and the titles you've held, you did beat Rip Mystic.
Mm-hmm.
So not only have you held a heavyweight title, you've also held tag team championships, as you are today in PWA.
I've held the regional championships too. I mean, I've run it. I've won every title you could possibly have earned in this area.
So you are considered one of the Grand Slam champions in Central Illinois.
Yeah. The first Grand Slam champion.
Exactly. The first. I apologize. The first. I'm sorry.
I held the regional title and I held the heavyweight title at the same exact time. I won every single match for over a year.
That's quite a long time.
Yeah.
There's only one other champion that's held a belt long as that, and that was the former PWA regional champion. That was Blake Steele, who ran an 18-month title reign with the regional title.
I like him fine. He seems angry enough. I stay out of his way. He stays out of mine. Yeah. It's a nice alliance there.
Have you seen him lately with the little scruffy white?
Yeah, that looks a little...
I'm not real sure what that is.
Moondog Pondo. A little dirty.
Oh, oof. So, we go back to that title part, and there was a part where you had vacated a heavyweight title due to an injury. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Do we want to keep this as legit and straight and what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
All on the table.
Wasn't necessarily an injury. Yes, I did jack up my shoulder, and yes, it did help me back for a bit. I was supposed to go to the Hart Brothers School of Wrestling. I was supposed to go to Canada. Did the whole thing, put my money in, put way too much money in. Ended up being a scam.
Dang.
Didn't really get my feet out from under me because that whole process took time. And while that was going on, the show must go on. I think that's when Guy finally got his big run at it. It is what it is. Kind of just took the wind out of my sails. We did a big ceremonious goodbye. That's where I became the first person inducted to the New Midwest Hall of Fame. It wasn't technically then, it was the Lifetime Achievement. Sure, it spawned into something else, but it's supposed to be bigger and better things, and it wasn't. It was exactly the same thing you'd come to expect from somebody in wrestling nowadays. That's dishonest, that's not loyal, that's just shady business. That's what you get most times.
So when that went on, you had a little bit of a time away. I mean, you spent a little time away from the ring and wrestling period around here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like a dandelion, like one of those wild weeds out of nowhere, you just out of nowhere in 2006.
You're talking about the second hiatus for me, or are we talking about how I carried every damn show that I was in? Because we can talk about that. We can talk about how I thought everybody was slacking and how I was the one stealing the show. Not because I was actually stealing anything. I was carrying it on my back for 30 and 45-minute matches. I was taking another guy who I have the most profound amount of respect for because I've never hit somebody so hard in my life, and we did it every single night. Every single time we had to go out there, we stole that show.
And that's why you're the best.
I'm the best because I work to be the best. I'm the best because I understand it more. I'm the best because I'm the wolf. I'm the one who's willing to go that far. I'm the one who's willing to get his hands dirty. I am the one who wants it most.
I can see that just by talking to you. I can see it simmering off of you and evaporating into the sky.
I didn't become a wrestler. I didn't do what I do to be somebody's best friend. I didn't do it because I'm inspired to see everybody else do well. I do it because it's what gets me going.
Sure.
It gives me goosebumps. It gets me on the back of my neck. Taking something and creating that moment is why I wrestle. I want to create that moment. And you know what? This goes back to, you don't have to like me, children. You don't have to like me, fans. You don't have to care at all. But I guarantee you, I'm the one who's going to deliver that moment. I'm the one who's going to give you goosebumps. I'm the one who at the end of that night is going to make you go, not because I did some 450 off the top, not because I went through a table, but you're like, wow, that guy, that match, that whole entire thing was incredible. But let's not get this twisted. I go over. I'm on top. I don't lose my spot. No one takes from me what I've gained.
We want to ask one question. There was another faction that you had aligned yourself with later years. You guys were all nicely color matched and had your nice little sunglasses from the 1980s, and I feel when I watch those years, that time period, that I saw the most attitude and the most arrogance come out of not only Michael Shard, but out of Guy Smith and Spencer Powers.
Yeah, there was a bunch of one-upsmanship there. That was a lot of fun. It's probably the reason why Spencer and Guy have feuded for so long, and that was tough. Because something happened there. There was a disconnect. I won a tag title with Spencer, I believe. We did it Freebird style rules. Any man can get a chance. And something happened to where it was always Guy and Spencer holding the titles. And somehow I had to hold back on that. And I remember wrestling Magnus at one point in which he was the heavyweight champ. And, I took that big, heavy best friend of mine. At the time, I didn't think he was my best friend. We did a suplex up over the top. I just remember nothing but thud. He landed first, I landed second. Wins all out of me. We're down. I end up getting up, and something happened with Steph at the time, his manager, and then somebody else came out. And I just remember never seeing anyone or group or Attitude Inc. No, those guys took... And this is the problem. Don't get in business with dirty people. Because Spencer and Guy, not good people. Cheer all you want. Probably won't for Spencer, but you will for Guy. Not good people.
So are you saying that when you didn't see anybody from Attitude Inc., you were left laying for the slaughter? You had no backup? You were shoved behind again?
You're exactly right.
But you're Michael Shard. You're the Michael Shard. You're the best.
Which brings up hiatus number 3 for me. If you want to bring that up. That was it. You know what? There was a point in which, and this is sorry and self-loathing, and I hope no one else out there wants to do that. I didn't think I could keep up. I wrestled Ryan Phoenix in the most humiliating match I've ever had. It was a guy who was better. It wasn't even close. I was out of shape. I was out of touch. I wanted everybody to like me. I had too much stuff in my head. I wanted to be everybody's best friend at that point. Like, yeah, come out, rock. You know what? Fans don't care. Fans don't care about the most popular person out there. They want to be entertained. And I lost sight of the fact that I was entertaining. I wanted to be an entertainer. No, just be yourself. And hang them up. Done. Couldn't keep up with the crowd.
And you just did that. You hung them up, so to speak. You disappeared again. You left.
Yeah.
And this time it was for a little while. I mean, you were not heard of or seen or anything.
I'm still probably not heard of by some of your fans.
Well,
now you'll get to know me.
Well,
real
hopefully,
fast.
hope that's what this is for, so that some of those people who don't know who Michael Shard is,
just show up.
They'll get to see who you
just
are.
Show up.
You did. You disappeared for a while, and then all of a sudden, you started popping up again in the crowd at PWA shows.
Yeah.
Left and right, there you were, and so much so that Crime Fighter, who everybody out there knows, thought you were worthy enough because you returned back into the world of Central Illinois and the pro wrestling scene, and because you're Michael Shard, you're the best, that you were deserving of the Nosebleed Seats Hall of Fame. Now, I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Do. I highly do.
Thank you.
My question for you with this is you made a statement in your speech to these guys out here that it would take, let me think if I can remember, it would have to be something, it would have to be something so right. It would have to be the right door. It would have to be the right circumstance. It would have to be the right time, the right reason for you to ever step foot into a wrestling ring again, Central Illinois or anywhere. And then all of a sudden, you showed up and disrespected probably one of the most honorable tag teams there was.
Honorable.
One of the most honorable shows in Pinfall Wrestling Association history at the Toga Steve Memorial Tournament, and interjected yourself into a tag team title match.
Yep.
What exactly was it that brought you back into wrestling? What was that time? What was that circumstance?
Because, I mean, did I tell you I was a wolf? I think I said this.
A couple of times, yeah.
Okay. And saying that was the best product you had. You had one tag team that I considered to be remotely entertaining. And right there, I knew one half of a tag team was worthwhile because he's my best friend and he's fantastic. He is probably the strongest guy on the roster. I'm just saying pure steel driving power. Jonathan Magnus is that guy. Nobody knows it. And he was just dying there. But I came back because I wanted to take your show. I wanted to take the PWA show and I wanted to stick it straight in everyone's face. Because you know what? Your heavyweight title matches, lacking. I will make this tag team championship the most important championship in PWA. And I, in kind, with my buddy John Magnus, will be the biggest attraction on your roster. And I'm almost believing that in one match, I'm already there. Ben's afterthought. Gone. I didn't even have to wrestle with Magnus, and we went up against your garbage tag team. Well, one half of a garbage tag team. It was an utter beatdown. And I was entertaining just by proximity. I'm going to carry PWA on my back the same way I did NMW, on my back. And I am going to escalate everything to a level it's never been. And you know all I should get? Thanks, Michael Shard. Thanks for picking me up. Thanks for picking up this roster. Thanks for putting in your time. Thanks for doing it here. Thanks for being the best. If I don't get my thank you, I'm okay with that. Just realize that's exactly what I'm doing.
But I still don't. I just still don't see why you had to take it upon yourself, not only to interject into that match, but to do it at one of the I can't even think of the right words, but you did it at the Toga Steve Memorial Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you interjected yourself like you have numerous different times. Like I made mention earlier back when you were like that wild weed, you just kind of out of nowhere again.
Yeah.
Because you're Michael Shard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think a lot of people out here who still remember who Michael Shard is are going to look at you now and say,
time out. You're bringing up a specific show with a specific person who I love deeply. But guess what? Toga Steve, how many titles did you ever hold? Do you know the answer? 0. 0. His contribution to me was moral. It wasn't anything to do in a wrestling ring. So I don't care when I showed up. I don't care the name of that card. I showed up because I wanted to. Because the time seemed right. Because a wolf decided he wanted to step in. I saw them just laying there, and it was time. You don't think about it, you just do it. I was sick and tired of being 8 rows up and watching people brag about things that don't even really matter. Truth is, I take this show. I'll take a Toga show. The next memorial we do, I'll win the damn thing. Just to let everyone know that I don't care about anything except for what I do and my friend does in a wrestling ring. That's all I care about. They want to talk about on that show, and the particulars of it don't matter. I do what I want when I want to do it. Keep going.
All right.
What's the next one?
Let's go ahead and shake things up a little here. Let's do word association.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to start with the first person because you made mention of these two people earlier, and when we were talking about it.
Okay.
The PWA Heavyweight Champion, Zero Height Guts.
Garbage. Liar. Coward. Overhyped.
Okay. Should I even ask the second one?
Whom?
Or are you just going to...
Whom?
Spencer Powers.
Great actor, great character, terrible wrestler. Don't understand how he got everything he's had.
Rip Mystic.
My trainer. And somehow a lost cause. I'll wait for you, Rip. I'm in the ring. My back hurts too. Suck it up.
Your tag team partner, John Magnus.
Best friend I could have. Steel driving, legitimate big man who all he needs is that little push. He's got it. And we're not going to lose that belt.
Number 1, Tom Arson.
I like Tom. Tom's an opportunist. He knows what he's doing. I like that about him. I mean, past that I don't care, but that I like.
The PWA Regional Champion, the young thriller Derek Moss.
He's fun. He flips around. That's cool. Not my kind of wrestling style. His music's a little loud. Not good enough necessarily to have the spot he has now. I don't know how he beats Arson in a match that's right up Arson's alley, so kudos to that one. That was pretty fantastic. But on the legit, I don't care about the second tier title. Give me the main one.
Okay. And last but not least, and we probably already got this in the beginning of this whole interview, but Michael Shard.
Best wrestler in Central Illinois history.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here. The Michael Shard. And I tell you, this is probably one of the craziest interviews I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, thanks for amping me up. This is all I want to ask you about. Just thanks for your questioning. It was really respectful, real tactful. Shows exactly the kind of guy you are. Thank you, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one-half tag team champion, Michael Shard. My name's Billy Alexander. We'll see you next week right here in the studio on Inside the Locker Room.